Hi, everyone. So, if you're here and you like this channel, please like and subscribe. There's a little notifications bell that you can click, and it will let you know when I'm coming on to do a live broadcast. Um, so, still a little bit of a hot mess from everything going on. That's okay. I'm rolling with it. Um, so, I want to just send a huge thank you. Oh, hi, Sylvan. I want to send a huge thank you to the donor that donated the denture adhesive. That is so important, and I've been asked for it so many times out there, and honestly, I'd forgotten to put it on the list, and the fact that you remembered just brightened my day. Thank you so very, very much. Then I got a package from Kat, and it was a bunch of beautiful dresses and supplies. For the homeless, like odds and ends that we can give away. Yeah, a video camera I was able to give to Austin, and that was just absolutely beautiful. I want to thank you, Kat, for that. And the reason I am not wearing one of those dresses for my vlog today, because I was going to, because it's absolutely beautiful, I will get into here in a little bit. So I also received from Set and Pretty, Mr. German, these gorgeous, gorgeous Christmas cards. And can you see? Because if you can see, that so looks like Ro. That looks like my Rowan. It's adorable. And they're Christmas cards. And thank you so very, very much. They're precious. I appreciate them. Okay. Hi, Yvette. And Yvette has been sending some children's things, which is very, very exciting. And a new pair of Eddie boots. Oh my gosh. So I have to get over to Mary's place or one of those places with some children and get them some warming supplies. So I just want to thank everybody for that. That is absolutely beautiful. I love your hearts. So the other day, there's this app and it's called Nextdoor, and it's like a neighborhood app, and it's been really cool, and it kind of keeps you up to date with your neighbors, what's going on in the neighborhood, things like that. So I downloaded this app and I thought, well, I'm online asking for people to donate, so I can hand things out. So I asked people to keep an eye out for people that need warmth and hand things out. And I think we might get a few more donations. So I'm very, very excited about that. And so if you're one of those people like me that are willing to go hand things out, hey, post it on Nextdoor. Maybe your neighbors have some more me things that you can hand out. Hi, Megan. Love your heart. Hi, always smile. Yes, I did receive them, and it was so wonderful. And like I said, I was going through it that day, just like, well, no, not that day, week. It's been a minute, and so I didn't get the thank yous out like I should have, and I apologize for that. Always smile. Hello, and hello, Tony. So I want to talk about what happened afterwards. After I received all that, I had gotten a call from Austin. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll probably know that Austin was one of my campmates from when I was homeless. And Austin has not been housed. And he's been homeless since he was about 15 years old. And we are struggling right now with feelings like he doesn't deserve to be housed, negative input, and things that have come his way. And so him and O'Shea are camping together, and O'Shea is one of my kids down from Eastlake, and they are camping together. And I told you all about the assault that happened at their camp, and they were swept. Well, they moved their camp, and they were swept again yesterday. So he called today, and we decided that we were going to trek around and look for another place that they could camp quietly where people won't bother them. In other words, stay hidden. If you don't want to get swept, stay hidden. You got to hide yourself. Live on the outskirts. Hi, Bruce, and thank you, Lori. Hello. So we went out to find a camp. Here's the frustrating thing, that there's these things called navigation teams, and really outreach and law enforcement working in humanitarian roles. And what ends up happening is they say they have resources, but really it's like all the resources the resources that they're handing out are the same, they're referrals is what they are. They do not have housing for people. And so the one officer, when they swept Austin the first time, we had him a tiny home village to go to. And I believe I did a vlog on this before. Not sure, but I'm pretty sure. And he had missed his appointment. And because the officer had written down the wrong directions and wrong address. And he missed the one spot that was open. So there went that tiny home. And then by the skin of my teeth, I was able to find another tiny home with an opening that Monday. They told me everything was set. On Monday, they said, oh, we filled it from within. I don't know how they did that, because afterwards they lied to me and said that there was lines around the corners. It was ridiculous. But then that was twice. So he's left with his tent and somewhere, and to go camp back and try to move to Eastlake. And then they decide to sweep at Eastlake again. And here's the issue with that. He asked the officer, well, why did you do that before? And the officer's like, well, my bad. And then said, well, hey, here's a shelter that accepts men. You can have your animal. But by the way, you leave in the morning and then you have to apply for a place back there at night. So not only do you give away all your life-saving supplies, your tent, your bags, your clothes, like your supplies, the ones that you can't carry with you, you go into the shelter, they kick you out in the morning, and hopefully there's a place for you there at night if you get back. Or hopefully your phone doesn't get end out, or any kind of emergency that always keeps us from somehow getting to appointments. I don't know what that is, but it's a thing. For some reason, time becomes irrelevant in your world when you're trying to survive. It's insanity. So they came over and we found a place. We found a place that was hidden. We found a couple other camps that had been swept already. But we did find a place that was hidden, and hopefully they can hide out there until we finally get our heads around that people deserve healthcare and housing. And you shouldn't have to hide your existence to be able to survive. So that was today, and that is why I am not wearing one of the beautiful dresses that Kat had sent for me, is because we were hiking in and out of blackberry bushes, and that is not proper attire. And by the time I got home, I'm just worn out. I let them, of course, use the cart to go gather belongings, because they will be up here near me. And in the vicinity, and hopefully it'll work out. So for right now, I've got Toph. I'm watching Toph and Rowan. So Rowan's got a little friend here, and we'll see how it goes. I would like to try and talk Austin onto getting on camera and sharing his experiences and his road a little bit as well. I think that it's helpful. And right now I'm trying to impart in him compassion for himself. Austin is very compassionate, but has very, very little compassion for himself. And that's hard. It's kind of been drilled into him since he was a kid. O'Shea, he's coming out of a lot of stuff as well, and he's even younger. So hopefully we can get them camped up. Somebody had sent a personal heater, so I am making them take that tonight. He was supposed to have taken it before, but I'm kind of glad he didn't, because it would have been lost in the sweeps. So Yoshi, thank you. Hi, Kate. Canine Therapy. Hi, Megan. So that's what I had to say about that. It's just the thing is they think that when people read, when they're putting out here in the news about these navigation teams and the sweeps and the help that they're giving, what I want people to understand, first and foremost, is yes, if they are sweeping a camp that has addicts, you are most likely going to get needles. If they are sweeping a camp that does not, you will not get needles. Now, without looking or being in the atmosphere of being homeless, a regular person cannot tell these camps apart. They just start saying everybody's throwing needles everywhere, which is not true. There are people who need containers, the red ones. Oh, Sharpie containers. They need those. And, because I'm sorry, but it sucks, but you are not going to expect somebody who is shooting up and things to walk and find a trash bin and do that. You need to provide them with the tools because they are not able to provide themselves with the tools to keep the rest of us safe. And when they do this and they come through and they say that, and I see a lot in a lot of articles that they're talking about offering people housing. They are not offering people housing. They are offering people referrals to shelters, places that they can get on housing lists, the places that they honestly need to go, but they're not places to fix the immediate need, which is shelter for that time being. And so what happens is people immediately, again, unless they're able to find a way to move those things that they've had in kind of stationary that they've built for a while, a lot of them can't move that amount of things. So they will leave everything. They lose everything they've accumulated. So another thing I've seen in a lot of articles and I've seen in a lot of pictures is where they push all the tents, all the interiors, everything up into a huge pile and they call it garbage. Let me just say that breaks my heart. If you look closely, sometimes you'll even see teddy bears and stuff in there. What they did is they bulldozed a bunch of people's homes, temporary shelters, the only thing they have to block them in the weather, into a big pile. And you will see mattresses in there. You will see blankets in there. You will see clothing in there. And they call it garbage. It wasn't garbage until you bulldozed it. Now it's pretty useless. And then again, we have people who are not being housed, who now are in severe immediate need of immediate outreach supplies. So it causes need. You can offer shelters all day long, but if you don't have the shelter beds available, if you have, say, in a great circumstance, in a beautiful world, 20,000 shelter beds available, well, guess what? We got 53,000 without. So there has to be somewhere for people to go, and there has to be some autonomy. Because you can't just keep losing everything you got and expect it to keep getting up. It causes deaths. And I just want to point out, when it's seniors, there's an even larger problem. So I'm going to read some of the comments. I was on a tangent there. I'm really sad. Yeah, they are doing larger sweep in Colorado Springs tomorrow. Yeah, it is a crisis. It is a crisis. And the thing is, well, it's not really, there are a lot of lies propagated, but the thing is it has to spark interest. For, people's interest doesn't get grabbed very easily. The problem that we have is that human beings, when looking at something, produce emotion. And the emotion induced by a picture, when you're seeing a pile of garbage and a bunch of needles and things, is that that's danger. And it is. It is. Being homeless is dangerous too. Living on the streets is dangerous. But instead of promoting education, it promotes emotion. aggravation, bad behavior, bad politics. One thing that I'm really happy for is Seattle Times has a section called Project Homeless, and they do a lot of stories, and they're great at researching. And I think Scott Greenstone, and I'm trying to remember. I don't remember her name, and I feel so horrible because she's absolute Vinia, I think. But they work really hard at getting to the truth and educating people, and trying to step away from the journalism points that rack up emotion rather than knowledge. So let's see. I'm glad I found your channel. I always wanted to learn the reasons why we have not succeeded in solving homelessness. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Okay, I have goals. I agree with you there was actually, speaking of antagonism towards homeless moving into areas, on Nextdoor, there was a comment by somebody who'd moved into an area around here. They said, well, there's 2 tents nearby where we are, and we just bought this property and blah, 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 blah. And are our children in danger? And I just was very straightforward, and I said, well, 2 tents aren't really what you got to worry about. For me, with my kids, I would search your sex offender registry and find out where they're laying in the context of where you are. And most of them, if they're going to show on there, they're housed. So, I mean, you're going to have to worry about some housed neighbors. You better look at city data. And when you look at the whole of crimes that were committed in this huge area, it was 14 homeless, and most of them were property crimes. Like, let's look at the scope of it, and let's look at reality, and let's look at facts and figures. Let's not look at the fact that you're afraid to go talk to somebody in a tent because you think that poverty has a direct relation to morality and values. Lack of a home doesn't make you a criminal. Well, it can if they criminalize lack of a home, I guess. Okay. You know what? Feel free to call me out on that. Sometimes lack of a home does make you a criminal, but it shouldn't. What I mean is, it doesn't make you you don't hamper humankind. So, yes, if you would hit the like button and share, that's great. I think that's wonderful. But here's, let's see, Jack, the reasons why we have not succeeded in solving homelessness. I am going to be point blank with this. Here's the reason that we have not succeeded in solving homelessness: because we have a refusal as a people to accept human rights and what they are. It seems strange to me, but not everybody is on board with living beings having a right to a healthy habitat. And I believe that the tide is turning. I believe that as we progress as a species and as a society, we see the worth in individuals and making healthy individuals that go into healthy families and healthy societies. Because in the end, what it comes down to is you cannot have a healthy society without healthy individuals, because that's how it works. And what will happen if we refuse to understand is, there are drivers to this. And one of the earliest is childhood. Adverse childhood experiences. We have to start with our children. We have to start with our families. We have to start recognizing that people deserve to be healthy. Healthy water, healthy habitat. And we have the ability to provide these things. We just haven't got everybody onto the want to yet. So that's the key. And I also refer to homelessness. A lot of times you'll hear displacement, because in the end, we're displaced, or I'm not anymore. But, there's a lot of displaced. And right now in California, we have tens of thousands of people that were displaced in fires in the last month or so, you know, and they deserve a right to a safe and healthy habitat. And by the way, that disproportionately affected seniors. There are an insane amount of seniors right now who have never had to survive outdoors. Is 70 really the time to learn? Like, I mean, I'm all for learning at any age. I just think that's a little excessive. So, in a country as wealthy as this, homelessness and hunger should not exist. Yet it does. And that's absolutely true. The issue is you'll see a disparity in the way we treat people with wealth, and what I mean by that is an example of that is Wells Fargo. Um, we don't want to. We feel like it's easier, I think, as a people to attack those who cannot defend themselves as well as those in higher places that do more damage. We know that corporate interest has added substantially to this issue and this problem and been a driver for many of these issues. And yet we put less accountability on them than we do somebody panhandling on a corner. And it's really a cognitive bias that I really have a hard time understanding. But I think it really needs to be addressed. Let me read some more. Yep, differences often trigger fear. Yeah. Yeah, the Dateline special. Yeah, that's the thing is there was a Guardian article as well on the state of poverty in the United States. And I have a hard time with the fact that so many people are unaware of the depth of the problem, the absolute scope of the problem, and where we are headed if we continue in this direction. And I also want to impart the knowledge that there are people that realize we can do better, and it's a movement, and people are being educated, and people are gathering knowledge, and people are wanting to solve this. And I see it more and more. And that gives me great hope. So I think it's important to be encouraging for sure. Thank you. I will tell you right now that is, Jack, that is actually my side project. My project is a systematic solution to addressing vulnerability displacement globally, actually. And I really believe, I'll just give a quick synopsis, is that if we look at the drivers to vulnerable populations, in other words, what causes vulnerable populations, we have enough technology right now to have monitoring and predictive systems in place so that when we can see these events globally, we can respond immediately with whether that be trauma centers, crisis intervention, where we need to set or better healthcare, whatever. We can stop these things as they come up, with global events. The thing is, we all have to work together. And there's a thing called syndromics surveillance systems. And that's the monitoring technology that we have that monitors those things. The issues that we're having is an overburdened healthcare system and the fact that it's for profit. It's a real issue. And when it comes down to it, it is cheaper to install monitoring and predictive technologies in, be able to center our help, get people healthier in a quicker fashion, maintain stabilization of individuals and then communities. And what we can do in that is we can use artificial intelligence. Um, it will bond with people. It doesn't matter the form, it can come as whatever shape on a screen you want, but it will be there all the time. Whereas social workers, doctors, integrative care, you have to make appointments weeks out. So you'll still do that. You'll still have integrative care, but you'll have someone to, okay, well, this is going on. I really need this appointment. That patches through whatever. Okay, well, here's how you can get through this now. Or maybe this is an emergency. You should go here. Or how about we call your doctor and their office can call you tomorrow? Or whatever that may be. I'm not sure the shape that it will take, but I am there's so much research and hours of research that I am doing, and I'm telling you, there is great changes coming. There's so many of us that are working on just amazing solutions and innovative solutions and all the things that we can do to nip this in the bud. Okay. No, nobody deserves to be homeless. It is. The banksters committed illegal transfer of wealth in history in 2008. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, banks are. It's really the way that we treat those with vast sums versus the way we treat those that have been victimized as that from that is really appalling. And it always makes me wonder about if the person has really truly sat and empathized with someone or seen truly how those behaviors can affect a whole life. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Yeah, so that's that. I just wanted to talk to you guys about kind of what the sweeps do. I don't, and that's not to say, honestly, that there aren't wonderful people doing it and they don't do great things sometimes, like animals, and things like that. And people don't get directed to shelters that they need. I'm just saying, you cannot say that the solution is referrals to a bunch of places that are going to tell them to kick rocks and expect that to be any kind of solution and then take away all that they have. It's not fair, and it overburdens everybody because now we all have to scramble to make sure that they don't freeze on the streets because we literally care. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. And to Kat, when I am not feeling like such a hot mess, I will definitely do my blog in one of those beautiful dresses you sent. So thank you very much. And much love to all of you and kindness. And thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Have a good day. Night. Night is night.